The status of the art before was essentially mostly heuristics, very good heuristics, very complicated, well thought out heuristics. But essentially you try to construct a crypto system, you try to poke, to kick the tires, you look for holes, and then all of a sudden you don't find any bugs, right? And then you go through a list of bugs. I try this, I try this, I try this. So therefore, at some point, you have to stop, and you say, well, I stop, and I believe that there is no other bug. Among all the possible infinitely many others, the stuff is solid. So of course, it's a very heuristic process, and there is somehow no proof. Instead, in the work that Shafi and I have done is rather different. So we want to prove. So we want to prove. And what is the proof? We want to prove that the ability in a cryptographic system to gain any understanding about the message should be equivalent to factoring numbers. Okay, factoring numbers we already mentioned. Let me say one more time. So 21 is factorized is 3 times 7. 3 is prime, 7 is prime, 3 times 7 is 21. So if I take a very large 1,000 bit prime or 10,000 bit prime and another very large 10,000 bit prime, I can still multiply them by hand even, taking it some time. But once I get the product, good luck and to figure out what P and Q are, the two primes really are, right? So that is the problem of factorization, and it's a very hard problem computationally. Perhaps we could do something with quantum computing, perhaps not, the jury is still out. But in any case, certainly that's something that has baffled the minds of generations of mathematicians. So what do we want to do is to say we want to prove that these two problems are equivalent. And what do I mean that is equivalent? So assume that you have found a way to generate some understanding from messages encrypted in the crypto system. Really? Then I can make money on you in the following sense. Somebody says, hey, I have here a 10,000 bit composite number, product of two primes. Can you factor those? Oh, I certainly can. But however, I want to be paid for my effort. So I want $1 million for factoring things. Deal. Good. So what I do now is I take this number, which is a number, has nothing to do with messages, with encryption, or anything else. I massage it around. I create an encryption scheme out of it. I take some message myself. I encrypt it. And then I call you, Stephen, hey, I know that you can understand something about messages in this. Could you understand something of this? And he says, and by the way, to reward of your good efforts, I give you $1. Okay, because I want to make money on the other side. And you say, okay, yes. And you give me the answer. Right? So I believe that this message you've done this. Very good. I keep on doing this 2, 3, 4, say 1,000 times, okay? And now you give me 1,000 odds, whatever there is. Then, by theorem, I take this 1,000 odds, and with a little bit more computation, I spit out the primes that multiply in the original challenge that was given, and I collect my $1 million. So essentially is that no matter what you can think you can understand, any procedure, you can very quickly convert it in a procedure that factors primes and nothing else. So it becomes a purely mathematical problem. And tell you the truth, that if somebody understands something from an encryption, or my conversation, encrypted conversation, because he knows how to factor, he deserves to understand what I'm saying. So so that's the thing, that's the new type. And nowadays you want to have this type of proofs, that you want to of equivalence between a pure mathematical problem and the proper understanding. And this, of course, comes with another thing, which is the effort in which you want to model. What does it mean to have an understanding? That's a vague concept, right? So first of all, you must model this so that in a way which is uncontroversial, it becomes that you have understood something, and then you want to have an explicit procedure that says any way to get this understanding is actually a disguised way of factoring numbers. So that is a totally different approach, right? We go from a heuristic approach in which it tells you that there is no other shortcut, there is no other bug, because if there is a bug, then whoever finds this bug also found a very effective, efficient way of factoring numbers.